Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to be subtracting mixed numbers, and this is really similar to lesson 33 where in our previous video we used the counting up strategy. We're going to be using the same strategy in order to subtract in this video. The only difference is now we're going to be subtracting fractions from mixed numbers. So before we begin, remember we don't know what the answer is. I have 8 1/10 minus 8/10. But I do know whatever this answer is, I can add it to 8/10 in order to get 8 1/10. So do you remember where I'm going to put 8 1/10 on my centipede's body? Awesome job! I'm putting it all the way at the end because that's where I'm ending. And what about 8/10? Where is 8/10 going to go on my centipede's body? Absolutely, it's going right at the beginning because that's where I need to begin. Now, you guys, remember I'm counting up, so I'm going to ask myself, what's the next whole number that I can count up to from 8/10? Awesome job. One whole. And remember, we need to also add. So 8/10 plus how many tenths equals one whole? If you said 2/10, you are absolutely correct. So you guys, let's pause for a second. I have 8/10 plus 2/10, which equals one whole. I need to end at 8 1/10. 8 1/10, excuse me. But I'm only at one whole right now. So let's think for a second. Does it make sense to count up to the next whole number, which is 2 wholes? No, that doesn't make much sense because then I would still have to count an additional 6 wholes and 1/10 in order to get to 8 1/10. So I'm going to ask myself, what's the closest whole number to 8 1/10? Awesome job, 8 wholes. Now I'm able to add 1 plus blank equals 8. Do you know what that blank is? Awesome job, it's 7 wholes. So you guys, now my entire centipede's body is filled in. However, I'm still missing one tiny detail between 8 and 8 1/10. What do I need to add to 8 wholes in order to get 8 wholes and 1/10? You're right, I need to add 1/10. So now you guys, let's focus on the top of my centipede's body. We already know that now it's time to take every single fraction and whole number from the top and add them together. We're doing this because we're trying to figure out what is the difference. So 2/10 plus 7 wholes plus 1/10. Remember, we're combining like terms. 2/10 plus 1/10 equals 3/10. And then simply just bring down my 7 wholes. So 8 1/10 minus 8/10 equals 7 3/10. Let's try another one. In this problem, I have 6 2/8 minus 7/8. Again, I don't know the answer, but I do know whatever the answer is, I can add it to 7/8 to get 6 2/8. Where am I putting 6 2/8 on my centipede's body? Awesome job, it's going right at the end. And what about 7/8? Awesome job, it's going right at the beginning because I know that I'm going to be adding to 7/8 in order to get to 6 2/8. Now you guys, you know what comes next. I'm counting up. I'm counting up to the closest whole number from 7/8. Do you think you know what the closest whole number is? Awesome job, it's one whole. 7/8 plus blank eighths equals 1 whole. Absolutely, 7/8 plus 1/8 equals 1 whole. Now remember, we're pausing right here. We're going to look at our end point. We're supposed to end at 6 2/8, but I'm only at 1 whole. So we know it doesn't make sense to count up to the next whole number, which would be 2 wholes, because I still am too far from 6 2/8. So I'm going to ask myself, what is the closest whole number in 6 2/8 that I can count up from 1 whole? Awesome job. I can count up 1 whole to 6 wholes. 1 plus blank equals 6. Fill in the blank. Absolutely. 1 plus 5 equals 6. Now, you guys, I filled in my entire centipede's body. Let's focus on our last 2 body parts. 6 wholes and 6 2/8. 6 wholes plus blank equals 6 2/8. If you said 2/8, you are absolutely correct. So now on the top of my centipede's body, I have 1/8 plus 5 wholes plus 2/8. Let's go ahead and add them together. Combining like terms and bringing down your whole number. So 6 2/8 minus 7/8 equals 5 2/8. One more, you guys. 5 1/4 minus 3/4. For this last problem, I want you to pause the video, get a piece of paper and a pencil, and I want you to draw your own centipede's body. Remember, your centipede's body should have 4 body parts. All right, guys, so you should now have your pencil and your paper. Where am I putting 5 1/4? Awesome, 5 1/4 is at the end. And I'm sure you have 3/4 at the beginning of your centipede's body. Now we have to count up to the closest whole number. So if I count up from 3/4 to the closest whole number, what should we have right here? Absolutely. 1 whole. Now, how did you get from 3/4 to 1 whole? What did you add to 3/4 in order to get to 1 whole? Awesome, me too. I added 1/4. So now I have 3/4 plus 1/4 equals 1. Now remember, we're looking at our end point, which is 5 1/4. I'm only at 1 whole, so I have to ask myself, what is the closest whole number that I can count up from 1 to? Within 5 1/4, the closest whole number is 5 wholes. So I can count 1 plus 4. And that would get me to 5. Now I'm focusing on my last 2 body parts, 5 and 5 1/4. What did you add to 5 in order to get 5 1/4? Me too. I added 1/4. So now inside of my body, centipede's body, I have 3/4, 1 whole, 5 wholes, and 5 1/4. And let's look at the top. At the top, I got there by adding 1/4 plus 4 wholes plus 1/4. So you already know what we're doing next. Go ahead and pause the video so by the time I'm done solving, you already have the answer on your paper. So 1/4 plus 4 wholes plus 1/4. Combining like terms, 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 2/4, and bringing down my whole number. 5 1/4 minus 3/4 equals 4 2/4, or 4 1/2 if we simplify 2/4 to its simplest form. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you in the next video.